Reality shows like Selling Sunset make this career choice seem so glamorous, over the top, and easy, but don't really paint a true reality on a life of a realtor or the industry in general. There is a lot of behind the scenes that goes into it. It's not just you have a buyer seller, you sign a contract, and then you make instantly a bunch of money. There's a lot more than you think that goes into it. So, where does the newest reality show for real estate compare? I'm talking about Buying Beverly Hills that just dropped from Netflix on November 4th. Personally, comparing the two, I think that Buying Beverly Hills did a way better job of showing actual reality of real estate. I feel like, they both do flashy sometimes things, but to me, Selling Sunset was just like way more about like, oh my gosh, I gotta wear a new outfit for this and this and this, and just very flashy. Being a realtor, that's not what it's about. It's about your client. It's not about like what shirt you're wearing, you know. But I feel like Beverly Hills did a really good job of just showing how much time you have to put in to being a realtor, and that's not just effortless. To me, just Selling Sunset, it's just unrealistic. It's not realistic as a realtor. It's great TV for the drama, but realistic, no. So I'm going to go over examples of how I think that Beverly Hills is showing realistic scenarios of real estate and realtors in general. Let's start with Joey. Joey. He was a mess in itself, but the part that I found very real and like more raw of like real estate is when he was trying to convince his family to agree to let him be their realtor to list their house. Now, while I do think it was funny, he needed convincing his family, because you would think family would be the first ones to help you get a listing, or at least for me, my first listing was a family member. Thank you. But the realistic part of, seeing his struggle and like really pushing to get that listing, and even if it is with the help sometimes of others in your office to get things done, I loved that. If you surround yourself as a agent with a brokerage that's all about inclusivity and helping each other and not really like it's me versus you, I think it pays off in the long run. And you see that there. They wanted him to be the best version of himself. And having a mentor or, a broker in charge or whatever it is that really cares about you and your success as a realtor, it's just key. About Brandon and Sonika. Them two, I really, really liked. I think I related to them a lot more because I am a new agent. I've not even been in the business for 2 years. So I just really gravitated toward them as a viewer. I really liked how real they were about everything. When they did their like mock listing appointments and they didn't do that great, I thought, this isn't staged. This is how it would be, because, when you get your real estate license, getting a license is just, anybody really can do it. And it's just so different than like actually doing real estate and, doing the whole process of it. It's just so different. And so I really enjoyed watching them. I feel like, unlike Selling Sunset, where it paints a more unrealistic view of a realtor, especially when they started out, which I know Selling Sunset didn't have as many like new realtors, but like a few, I guess. This one really did, and I loved it. When it showed scenes that they didn't really know what to do or say, I loved it because that is the truth. When you start out in this business, you don't really know what you're doing. You're kind of like a deer in a headlights, and you just kind of have to, you know, do it and fail and do good and just fake it till you make it sometimes. That's my motto. It is hard to get started in real estate, and you are going to mess up a few times. That's okay. Every realtor, no matter whatever profession you're in, everyone is human and you're going to mess up. Everyone has to learn and start somewhere. So I don't care if you're the top producer in your brokerage, the top producer in your state, or you're the top producer of the world in real estate. They've all started from somewhere and they've had to learn. You're not just immediately the best. Everybody has trials and tribulations that you have to go through to be the best, So I love them because it did show how hard it is sometimes in this industry, especially starting out. About Allie. I really liked Allie. She was one of my favorites, probably. I love a good girl boss. She just, to me, really was a clear picture of a hustler, a true girl boss. I loved her because she literally worked up until the time she gave birth. And she had 2 children already. She was crushing it. She did not stop. And the fact that she went to a work party a few weeks after, I think it was, giving birth, rock star. She may have been there for the tequila, but rock star. Yeah, you wouldn't have caught me there after giving birth that quick. No way. I've never given birth, but I would think I would not do that. But I just loved her. And I loved her for the fact that because she hustled like she did while she was pregnant on the verge of giving birth, it just shows you, how, you got to be motivated and you got to work sometimes. I think a lot of times people either get into the industry or they have this notion about the industry that, you're going to become a realtor and you're going to have the most flexible schedule ever. That's not true. You have a flexible-ish schedule to an extent, but you're really more on other people's schedule. You're not showing most of the time houses like 9 to 5 because your buyers have jobs. So you're going to show homes after 5 o'clock or on the weekends. So, you have to be flexible and be available when they are ready and need to go see a home. Especially in the crazy market we just had, you had to be really flexible because you couldn't really wait a few days to see a home because it would be off the market already. You had to be ready to go. And I just loved, her hustling, and it showed. Talk about probably my favorite, which was Farrah. I obviously am a big reality TV star fan, and I love all of the Housewives shows. I watched all of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, so I knew who Farrah was. I knew, obviously her mom's Kylerichards. Mauricio had, been in the show, like Real Housewives before, so I knew of the family. But this show really made me appreciate how hard of a worker Farrah is. She does obviously come from a wealthy family, with Kylerichards being her mom, and I'm pretty sure her father is in real estate too, so he does, pretty well. But she worked all the time, and I just loved it. She obviously knows rich people. Her cousin is Paris Hilton, so you would think like someone like that wouldn't really work as hard as she does. But she was amazing. You know, she really showed how much time and effort you have to take to be a realtor. And even if she's like doing really well, she's still hustling like crazy. You know, you have to go to listing appointments to get listings like she did. You have to be updated on homes that have went on sale in the area. Like in the episode where Alexia was like, oh, there's not really been any homes recently that sold in where we used to live. And Farrah was like, no, that's not true. That girl had it. Okay, and she knew the area. I loved that as a realtor. She knew, and you have to know when you're going to a home for a listing appointment. If you're going to show them comps of homes that's been in the sale for the seller in their area, you need to know when the last sale was. You know, she just shows that it takes a lot of time and dedication to get that to that point of her career. And you can tell she's worked really hard and continues to. You know, another one of my favorite episodes was episode 2 with her, where she was talking with Alexia about, you know, real estate transactions isn't just about, you know, getting it under contract, but getting it to the finish line. She is 1,000% correct on that. There might be this myth that, you know, some people who either have had really smooth transactions when buying or selling, or if you haven't bought or sold in real estate, you don't really know. But things can and will go wrong in a transaction. It's unfortunately not always smooth sailing. You know, there may be a home inspection that doesn't go as planned, or an appraisal falls through, or personally for me, when I bought, we had issues with our underwriter. He was horrible and was always hard to get in touch with, and I thought we were going to have to push our due diligence back, and you know, it was very stressful for us. Thankfully, we had a realtor who really, like, along with me, because I wasn't a realtor at the time, pushed and pushed and was like, no, you've got to do this. You know, so it can be hard. And the myth that, you know, if you sign your name and you dot your I on that contract, it's basically finished, that's not true. That's false. You know, while buyer's agents recommend buyers to still consider homes that are under contract, is because that a lot of pending transactions fall through due to a various number of reasons. So, you know, when Farrah says that, I loved it, because I felt like on Selling Sunset, it was just like, oh, we went on escrow on this and we went on escrow on that. Okay, but did you make it to closing? Like, we don't know, you know. Also, I loved when Farrah touched on the difference between getting your real estate license and actually doing real estate. This is something that honestly, until I was in real estate, I didn't understand. But the easy part is obtaining a license. You know, of course, it does take time and effort into studying and, you know, being focused, obviously, to pass your national and state exams in your class. I mean, so, you know, depending on your state, for me in North Carolina, it was 75 hours. But it doesn't teach you actually how to do it. It just gives you information. You know, it doesn't tell you how to get listings or how to get buyers or how to negotiate a contract or what happens if an appraisal falls through or what happens if you have, you know, a listing and it has multiple offers. You know, for these reasons alone, Farrah is correct in saying that entry level to become an agent is low and the skills you need is way higher. Talk about the last one. Alexia. Oh, bless her heart. Bless her heart. There's a lot I could say about her. A lot. All I can really say is bless her heart. But first, I know it's not easy to, I'm sure, have the pressure of, you know, being in a family business, your father is very successful, your sister is very successful in real estate, and obviously you want to be as well. But to be so young and you're still wanting to like be friends in the office and want to be accepted by everybody, I found that really, not really relatable, I guess, but like realistic. I'm sure that's how she truly feels. She's not really like made a name for herself in real estate like Farrah has, so she probably does feel awkward. But I think her character on the show is really interesting because as a new agent, I do get her struggles for sure. But I'm like, also while watching it, wondering like why isn't her dad helping her, or like why wouldn't her sister have helped her? Why neither one of them helped her prepare more? It's just beyond me. I just don't understand it. I think maybe for Farrah she was just too busy, but you would think her dad would, or he would pair her up with a mentor who has more time than if he didn't, to help her succeed. I'm just really curious to why she didn't do like mock showings like Brandon and Sonika did, because after watching it, she definitely could have used it. In the two, examples that I'm going to talk about, she was not prepared at all. It was very clear she wasn't ready and prepared when she showed up to the house to show for Kim Kardashian's friends Natalie and Olivia. Side note, yes, I do know they're Kim Kardashian's friends because I'm a reality junkie and I've seen them on her Instagram. But never mind that fact. The fact that Alexia, grew up in this house and she can't say one thing about it. She had no details together of this house. And I get that it was a last minute showing, it wasn't even on the market yet. But when you're getting things ready to put, as active during the coming soon phase, you should be having information on it. This is the time where you do gather it all up. So I don't know why she couldn't have had a little cheat sheet with her. I just thought, honestly, that it was a hot mess, inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck, and I was like, ooh. I don't blame Melissa. Is that her name? The other agent? I was like, ooh. Yeah, I don't think that was good either. But, that's the thing. You trial and error, and sometimes you fail. The second example was when she showed the house to Allie's seller, which I think this was before, but you get it. Both of them were a train wreck. First of all, it was extremely awkward, I'm sure, for her to have that seller in the home. Personally, I have shown homes when the seller's there, and I feel awkward. And so does my buyers. It is awkward. Not that like I'm afraid I'm not going to say something right, because I always bring the MLS sheet with me. But just, it's awkward. I don't want to give too much away, in the sense that I don't want I can't control sometimes what my buyer says, even though you might want to, you can't, free speech. No, but seriously, if a buyer really likes the house, if the seller's there, you don't want them just being like, oh my gosh, I gotta have this house and I'll do anything to buy it, and oh my goodness. Because if your buyer does that and the seller hears them, say your buyer puts an offer on the house and say it's not even at the asking price, maybe it's a little bit low, those sellers are going to tell their seller agent, no, let's counter because we heard them say they really like it, and they'll go up to at least full asking. And you don't want that as the buyer's agent. You don't want them to have an upper hand. So, also, I feel like it's just awkward when you have someone like looking over you, not in the sense that like you're doing or saying anything wrong like Alexia did, but just like having them like kind of creep in and like watch what you're doing. If I was a seller's agent, I would not advise a seller to be at the house if they can help it. Just because I do know as a buyer's agent it is awkward, but also as a seller's agent, I would not want my buyers to potentially talk to any of the potential buyers without my presence, just because you never know what is going to be said. You just don't know. So, with Alexia in this instance, though, it's clear she wasn't prepared. And as an agent, you want to be as prepared as you can be. Obviously, sometimes, you do have a request from a buyer to show a house the spur of the moment. So maybe you don't have, time to get exact, elaborate details on things. But, you should at least print off the MLS sheet. That's what I do. That gives the basic information about a home. I typically will print the sheet off for myself, and then I'll print one off for the buyer so that they can look at it and then they can keep it. And I would imagine, since it's Allie's listing and she's helping on it, she would have known, Alexia would have known, that the seller was going to be there at that appointment. And in that case, she should have known. She should have been on her A game. Why nobody, as in Allie, as in her dad, as in her sister, none of them told her she should have been on her A game? It's just mind-blowing to me, honestly. I mean, as a new agent, I know you're going to fail, but as a new agent who has not one but two immediate family members who crush real estate, you just would think they would coach her better. I really did enjoy binging this new series. If there is a season 2, your girl's going to be watching it. I love reality TV. And it really honestly motivated me to be a better realtor in my area. I just loved it so much better than Selling Sunset, because as a realtor in this industry, I found it so much more realistic and so much more relatable. It was more of a true reality show of the real estate industry with a little bit of drama, obviously. I mean, just in life in general, you are going to have some drama. But for me, Selling Sunset was more about the drama and less about, like, the reality of real estate. I hope y'all liked the video. I really enjoyed making it because I love talking about reality TV. So if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you next time.